learn how to crochet an invisible decrease. Hi there, I'm Cilla from Cilla Crochets, and I'm here to cheer you on throughout your crochet journey, no matter what stage you're at. Now, if you're new to crocheting amigurumi, or you're just looking for some tips to help make your amigurumi look that little bit neater, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to share how to crochet an invisible decrease. But before we get to the tutorial, let me tell you what an invisible decrease actually is. A standard decrease is a way to reduce the amount of stitches in your rows or rounds in amigurumi. And an invisible decrease allows you to do a decrease that is that little bit less visible. So it really does what it says on the tin. It's meant to reduce the appearance of your decreases when you crochet amigurumi. Now, you can use an invisible decrease in other circumstances, but generally speaking, it is most popular when you're crocheting amigurumi. I personally avoid it if I'm crocheting back and forth in rows. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain that. That will all become clear as I show you how to do it. But before I do, let me show you an example of what the invisible decrease actually looks like. This is Edward the Elephant, my second or third ever amigurumi that I made. The pattern is from Sarah Zimmerman's Crochet Cute Critters book. Now, when I crocheted Edward, I did not use an invisible decrease. I just used a standard decrease. So just to show you what the standard decrease looks like, you'll see here there's a little stitch that looks a little bit bigger than the other ones. So that is an example of a standard decrease. There's another one just above it there. Hopefully you can see that okay. Essentially, they just look a little bit thicker than the other stitches. Now, when we compare that to an invisible decrease, I'm hoping you'll notice the difference pretty immediately. So this is my Luscious Lemon. I'll put all the pattern links and everything in the description below. I'm just trying to find an example for you. Here we go. So the little stitch I'm pointing to there, it does look slightly different to the other ones, but it's not as noticeable as the chunky stitch I showed you on Edward. That is an invisible decrease there. See if I can find another one as an example. Yeah, there is another one there. So there's actually a few going in a diagonal right near my finger there. I'm not sure. I'm hoping you can see them okay. Now, another quick example is on Reuben. The only difference with Reuben the red panda is that I have crocheted him using an X-shaped single crochet stitch, which is a little bit different to the normal V, the standard V shape single crochet. So just to show you an example of some invisible decreases, when you're using the X-shaped single crochet stitch, the invisible decreases are hardly noticeable at all, which is, I love. You can tell if you know what you're looking for, but it's not the chunky type of stitch. So let's get to the tutorial. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook and some worsted weight yarn in this tutorial. I've already crocheted a magic circle and 4 rounds. So just so we've got something to work off. So here are our next 2 stitches in the round, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be joining these 2 stitches together with 1 single crochet stitch above it, so in the next round. And I will be using the invisible decrease method. So step 1, we're going to insert our crochet hook into the front loop only of that first stitch. So that is the side of the stitch that is facing you when you're crocheting in the round. Okay, so then we're going to do the same with the next stitch. We're just going to insert our crochet hook. See how it's coming up in the middle of that stitch? So we've got the 2 front loops of those 2 stitches on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through both loops, the front loops on our hook. And that just draws up another loop on our hook. Now we'll yarn over and pull through these 2 loops on our hook. I'm just going to pull it a little bit, but that is our invisible decrease. Now I'll do this again a couple of times, but I'm just going to crochet a couple of single crochets in between just so you can see what the invisible decrease looks like next to the single crochet. So there's 2 single crochets. So we've got our invisible decrease, 2 single crochets. Now we're going to do our next invisible decrease. So we'll insert our crochet hook into the front loop of the next stitch. We'll insert the crochet hook into the front loop only of the next stitch after that. So we've got the 2 front loops on our hook. Then we yarn over. We pull through those 2 front loops. So we've got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops, and there is a second invisible decrease. So you've got invisible decrease, single crochet, another invisible decrease. So let's do that one more time for good measure. So again, I'm just going to crochet 2 single crochets in between. Okay, and now let's go for our next single crochet invisible decrease. So insert crochet hook into the front loop only of the next stitch, then again into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through those loops, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops on our hook. And that is it. So we've got an invisible decrease, 2 single crochets, invisible decrease, 2 single crochets, and another invisible decrease. So because we're crocheting into the front loop of the stitches, you'll see on the back it does look a little bit strange. So let's see, we've got an invisible decrease. We're looking at the wrong side here. Visible decrease, single crochet, and an invisible decrease. So you can see the 2 back loops underneath it that weren't crocheted into. Now this is why I recommend only using the invisible decrease for amigurumi pieces, because really you don't want to see this side on your finished crochet piece. For amigurumi it's fine because the wrong side sits inside the piece and not on the outside. Now that you know how to crochet an invisible decrease, I just want to talk very quickly about how to determine when to crochet one. In most patterns, they won't actually tell you when to crochet an invisible decrease or when to use one. So I highly recommend using them generally in any amigurumi patterns where it says decrease or SC2 tog. Now, some pattern designers will actually put it in the notes of their patterns. They'll say we recommend using an invisible decrease. I put it in a lot of my patterns, for example, but not everyone does. So it's just knowing when to use that invisible decrease. And it's perfect for amigurumi, but not so much when you're crocheting back and forth in rows, just because you're working into those front loops only. I hope that helps. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to stay tuned with any new videos I release, just hit that subscribe button and turn the little bell on so you get notified when any new videos come your way. Until next time, happy crocheting!